Easy now. Papa got things making headlines.
Come down. Ooh, you make my high come down. Always tripping when you come around. I'ma have to cut you off, like right now. You see, I don't want to drive me. You can say that for your mama. Maybe you should smoke some. Me try the marijuana. I was never you good. The vibe was straight. Showed you a couple of things and they ain't finna change. I treated you right. Everything was a gift from a time to your bag and the color on your lip. Yeah, you
Welcome to the Seahawks Man to Man podcast powered by The Athletic. Shout out to the company. My name is Michael Sean Dugar. I'm here with my co-host Christopher Kidd. Make sure you follow us both up on the tweet machine. You guys know where to follow me at MikeDugar. Also, shout out to all of our YouTube subscribers. Seahawks Man to Man on YouTube. That's Seahawks the number 2 Man to Man. Appreciate everyone who checked out our first film breakdown that we're going to try to bring you every week. Broke down some plays in week 5. We're going to try to bring week 6 plays later in the week. Chris, talk to him.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy, Christopher Kidd. You can follow me on Twitter at CKIDD206, and that's CKid206.
All right, we're coming to you after the Seahawks beat the Arizona Cardinals in week 6, 19-9. A weird football score. Improved to 3-3 on the year. And what Pete Carroll is envisioning, or at least claiming a three-way tie for first place in the division. It's not actually a three-way tie, even though the Niners and the Rams are also 3-3. The Niners have the tiebreaker over the Rams and over the Seahawks. So technically, the Niners are in first place. The Rams are in second. Seahawks in third, and the Cardinals bringing up the rear at 2-4. We spent a lot of time on this program the last few weeks talking about what's wrong with the Seahawks defense and whether it can be fixed. Like, it really got to the point last week where we called in an expert in Ted Wynn. Shout out to Ted. Did a film review, wrote a joint article with me, came on the pod last week. What's wrong with the defense? And so we have to start this show, Chris, and spend most of the show, I should say, on the defensive performance by the Seahawks today, because those 9 points aren't 3 field goals by Arizona. That's 3 points on their first drive and then donuts from the offense the rest of the way. The 6 points coming via blocked punt in the second half, I want to say. So Seattle defense pitched basically – I don't want to say pitched basically a shutout, because we've seen that. Good God, that Mariner game. But the Seahawks defense kept Arizona out of the end zone the entire game, man. That's just incredible work. So I think today, Chris, if you're all right with it, we need to spend some time showing some love to the defense because they kicked some ass today. And I think we're both probably in agreement that it's pretty surprising to see them kick Arizona's ass in that way, because the defense just really hadn't kicked ass like that all season.
Yeah, and they did it in all 3 levels. The defensive line, they did their part, got after the quarterback. They had 5 sacks, which that's great for this team. This team hadn't been touching the quarterback. They were allergic, anemic, whatever you want to describe their attempt at getting to the quarterback against opposing teams. It didn't happen. And then Sunday against the Cardinals, they came alive. Daryl Taylor with a strip sack, fumble there. That was great. You saw Puna get in the action. They blitzed Ryan Neal. He got in there. You saw guys making plays that you would expect to make plays early in the season, but for whatever reason, new scheme, just getting to play with each other. Well, that came out really weird. Just understanding and playing as a unit.
You're all right. You can say it, man. It's fine.
I said it. It is what it is. But playing as a unit, the linebackers, Jordan Brooks, you didn't hear his name a lot, and he was also around making plays. You also saw guys just making tackles. You didn't see guys breaking free. A couple of times, Rondale Moore earlier in the game, he made a few moves here and there, but for the most part, they bottlenecked it up. You mentioned after them getting 3 points on the Cardinals' first drive, the Seahawks were able to shut it down, getting after the quarterback, tackling. I thought it was damn near a perfect game for the defense, and to do it after how badly they've been playing, they needed this. This is something that proves to them that now they see that they can do it. That's only going to allow them to get better each and every week. And you saw a lot of different coverages, different schemes that they're drawing up just to allow this team to play at a better rate than what we've seen so far this season through 6 weeks. And today on Sunday, they put it all together and put out a pretty solid performance defensively. and I was impressed. You got to see a little bit more of Kobe Bryant, and again, what does he do? Causes yet another fumble. Isn't this his third or second straight week forcing a fumble?
I think I forget how many
I want to say
consecutive.
it's 2 for sure.
It's definitely 2 because this is the second straight week he has forced a fumble that Tariq has then recovered. That's
That
just
too. That's weird.
That's amazing in its own right. But then this is the 4th fumble that he's forced. He forced one against Deebo Samuel in week 2. Deebo recovered it, which is why it's not as remembered as
Yeah, exactly.
But he did force it.
Yes.
Deebo fumbled in week 2. He gets somebody to fumble in week 4. Josh Reynolds, I want to say, fumbles in week 4 of the Lions. Week 5, he got Alvin Kamara to fumble, and then today he gets Kyler Murray to fumble. So yeah, he's getting everybody, running backs, receivers, running backs who are receivers. Like he's doing it all.
You better wrap Tucker in because he's coming for the ball. He's punch out artist right now, and it's just cool seeing these 2 rookies make a name for themselves. Whether it's Kobe forcing fumbles, and then your guy Tariq Woolen, who is yet again proving why he is the starter on this defense. I still don't understand the play to throw it up to Marquise Brown, who was 6 inches shorter. Probably not the best play call. If anything, you probably want to throw that to AJ Money Green, but regardless, Tariq Woolen makes a play, makes it look easy. He is fitting in perfectly with this defense, and I think he's only going to get better, which is crazy to say. He has 3 interceptions so far this season. Four. Excuse me, 4 interceptions.
4 in 4 weeks.
I have no other words for you guys. This kid is definitely something to be looking out for. And if he's shutting down one side of the field, which I think he's capable of doing, you might see more cover 3 from the Seahawks. This might go back to what they really, really want to do. Of course, still you want linebacker play to be better, and you want the pass rush to continue what you guys saw on Sunday against the Cardinals. But man, I'm sure Pete is really, really happy right now with his getting out Tariq Woolen.
Yeah, no, Tariq's playing like one of the best defensive backs in the league, not even just for rookies. Because I've been trying to get away from that, and we'll talk a little bit about Tariq more. I want to get to the D-line first, but one thing that I've kind of tried to get away from the last couple years is only comparing rookies to what other rookies at their position are doing. Like I get some of the comparison. Like I did a little bit with D last year, just kind of put his performance in perspective relative to the other rookies taken. But after a while, it's like I'm just kind of grading you on what other guys at your position are doing, because you don't really. After a while, it's like, bro, we don't really care that you're a rookie. You're starting or you're playing. So it's like I'm judging you based on how other guys are playing. I think unless somebody went crazy in the Sunday night game, Chris, the only person with as many interceptions as Tariq this year is Jordan Poyer of the Bills. Yeah, that dude is nasty, because I think he's only played like 3 or 4 games.
He's hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt right now, and still.
I think he's done for the year, maybe, but whatever.
Is he done for the? I know him and Micah Hyde have been banged up. That Buffalo secondary took a hit. I don't know how they beat the Chiefs today. I got to rewatch that game later. But anyway, point being, Tariq is not just playing like one of the best rookies in the class defensively, which is also still saying a lot, because the first pick in the draft, I believe, was a defensive player. I don't even remember the dude's name now. Something Walker, one of them dudes from the Jags.
The D lineman.
Yeah, and it feels like the best guys out of the class so far have been DBs. Have been Sauce, who seems to be playing really well, and then Derek Stingley down there in Houston playing really well. Maybe I'm missing some guys, but you get the point. So Tariq is balling. But I do want to start up front, though.
That's where it starts, though, from the jump.
Yeah, it really does. And the more I learn football and stuff, I see why every coach, player, and every say it starts up front. It's just really I knew they weren't lying before, but when you really learn defense, everything does start there. Like you can't scheme around a bad front. You can run 3-4, 4-3, 4-2-5, 3-3-5. It doesn't matter what you're running. If your front is lacking, you're gonna get your ass kicked. And teams are in particular, gonna be able to run on you. And when they can run on you, they can pretty much do whatever else they want for the most part, because they can be in any personnel grouping and just run down your throat, and then you're just on your heels, from there, getting your ass kicked, getting blown off the ball. And that's what the problem the Seahawks were having coming into this game. And I talked to some of the D-line guys this week, particularly Shelby Harris was quietly becoming an excellent quote. He made it real simple to me this week, man. He's like, it starts with us. It's not just us. It starts with us. We do our job, fill our gaps, don't make mistakes, and tackle the guy with the ball. We'll be fine. Quentin Jefferson said the same thing after the Saints game. He's like, football is real simple. You gotta get back to the fundamentals. Tackle the motherfucker with the ball. That's what Quentin told me after the Saints game. And that's a little bit of an oversimplification. Part of it is some scheme stuff. But you look at it today, Chris, and you can see why they made a few scheme changes. But like Jordan Brooks told me, Brady Henderson and Greg Bell after the game, or I think it was Curtis Crabtree, not Brady. But either way, Jordan, he said after the game, he was like, yeah, we made some adjustments, but the biggest thing was just owning up on what was the problem. He said guys took it personal today, especially the D-line.
You saw it.
Yeah. You could just it wasn't no secret. I wrote about it in my story after the game. So I'm in every locker room post game, right? So I know what the scene looks like after the offense goes crazy or Rashad goes crazy. The cameras all go a certain way. The last few weeks, nobody's really been talking to the D-line after the games because they just been playing so bad, at least, on first glance. So everybody's like, let's not wander over to that side of the room. We all focusing on Geno, and there's usually a big line around the receivers, whatever. Today, man, there was so many cameras on the left side of the room, and the left side is where the D-line is, with the exception of Uchenna. D-line cameras everywhere, man. King, Fox, Como, the Seahawks in-house people, because everybody could just see it today. It wasn't just a 6 sacks. The Cardinals couldn't run the ball today.
Only person that was running was Kyler.
And I know the Cardinals don't have a good offense. I think they were like 20-something in scoring. They're only like average by EPA per play, which basically means on a per play basis, how impactful are the plays that you're running. They're about average. They're banged up at running back, but based on my mentions, no one cared about that. I tweeted that the Cardinals were banged up at running back. Everyone told me, congrats on Eno Benjamin having the day of his life, which is not totally, like misguided. Chris, we've been saying for a few weeks, somebody has a career day.
5 straight weeks.
Yeah. Kyler ran for 100. I don't think that's a career high for him. So I'd have to check that. I don't think it is. Either way, like the D-line, not only do they play well, though, you could see that they were just fed up. Like it was like a put up or shut up type of moment.
Yeah.
It was no longer, here's how we're going to scheme this. Like it did a little bit of that. It was Quentin Jefferson talked about after the game. It was like, man, they cut us loose, let us just kind of get busy. But really it was more like, I'm about to just start playing better. We've talked over the past few weeks how life isn't like the Disney movie Brink where you just skate better. But some of that did happen today. Poona Ford played his best game of his season today. In the backfield against the run, in the backfield against the pass. I think he even batted a pass down at the line of scrimmage today. Uchenna had sack number 3. Daryl had sack number 2. Quentin had sack number 2. Shelby got in there. Brian Monet just blows up a run play all by himself by taking the center and moving the center backwards until he trips up, Benjamin, for like a loss of 1 or a gain of nothing. There were just so many impactful plays in there. Miles Adams and Quentin Jefferson had some good run stops. Brian Monet had some good run stops. They just set the tone up there. And once they set the tone up front, you kind of see how the defense is supposed to work. You stop them from running the ball on you, and what do? They try to throw it on you. Well, they try to throw it on you. Their O-line better be ready to protect, boy, because we coming. Their O-line was not ready to protect. You look at Daryl Taylor's sack, and that poor right tackle, what's his name? Looks Kelvin Beachum, Kevin, or one of the two. Daryl just ran right past that man and got straight to Kyler. It's like when you can stop the run and then unleash your pass rushers, and your pass rushers are just even halfway talented, the defense works the way it's supposed to, because then you're getting off the field. How many punts did they force today? 15 million. You're either getting off the field or you're generating turnovers. Had a pair of turnovers today. You can just see this is how the defense is supposed to work. And I think that was the other part of why a day like this, even though it didn't come against the best offense in the world, I think a day like this is important because it can reaffirm belief in the system. Because no matter how much you love the coaches, no matter how much you love the guys next to you, no matter how much you love Pete Carroll or John Snyder or whoever, you need to see shit work if you're on the team. You know, you need to see what they're telling you Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and what you're walking through Saturday. You need to see that shit translate onto Sundays. Because if that just continuously does not happen, the human element kicks in. Like, you know, Chris, we play flag football on Saturdays all the time. If you keep telling me, Mike, trust your technique that I'm telling you, do A, B, and C, and we'll stop them from scoring. And I keep doing A, B, and C a month in a row, and I keep getting scored on. After a while, I'm just gonna not trust you. You know, like even if I know you're a Super Bowl winning head coach or whatever, you've been in the game for 50 years, you keep telling me something is gonna work, and I do it, or my group of guys do it, and then it does not work for whatever reason, whether it's our fault or the coach's fault. Eventually, human element sets in. That's when you get guys either trying to do too much, not believing in each other, not communicating, just all these other things that spiral. And you need performances like this where you implement the game plan, you kick the other team's ass, you watch it on Monday, and you say, it'd be like the ends of the first two Bad Boys movies with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence.
That's how you.
Yeah, after the end of the first movie, he's like, from now on, that's how you drive. You know, that's
Did
how
you say that's how you
drive.
shoot too?
That's how you shoot comes in the second movie.
Yep.
And it says that's how you shoot, because remember he shoots when they're in Cuba.
Shoots the ear off.
Flies that bullet. No, he blows dude's head off. He shoots the dude in the head and he lands on a landmine and then he blows up. That's the end of the second movie. But he says, yeah, now that's how you're supposed to shoot. Now on, that's how you shoot. That's what Tell the Truth Monday is going to look like in the Seahawks defensive room. It's going to be Clint Hurt in the front of the projector saying, now that's how you're supposed to get off blocks or tackle or whatever the hell, because they finally got to see it. You know, not to say that everybody doubted the scheme through 5 weeks, but I think people listen to get what I'm trying to say. You got to see shit come to fruition. Yeah. You know, you have to. And it could not have been done without the front. I think Jordan Brooks still led the team in tackles with 11. And then Kobe Bryant was second with 8. And then Ryan Neal with 7. Usually, if you have 2 DBs in your linebacker lead, that may not be the greatest thing, but the D-line just played so well up front. And sometimes that just meant holding on to your gap while Jordan could come in, while Kobe can come in, while Ryan can come help, in the run game. I think, Chris, what did the 2 running backs have for Arizona today?
Not much. Maybe 40 yards.
Yeah, because I picked up Eno Benjamin in one of my fantasy leagues, and I got cooked. So let's see. 15 carries for 37 yards for Eno Benjamin, and then Keontae Ingram had 3 carries for 7 yards with a long of 7. So, like, he had 1 7-yard carry, and it was a non-factor the rest of the game. Like, we had not seen that at all from this team, and that really, I have to watch the film to, like, really, 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 really see who stood out in the run game. But I just know when you have 6 sacks by 6 different dudes, like, that's just total dominance. And as much as we'll get into some scheme stuff with some of the Twitter questions people have, I think a lot has to be said for those guys just being like, fuck, man, I got tired of not getting knocked off the ball.
Yeah.
Got tired of not being in my gap, or got tired of just getting outplayed by the other team, you know? And I think the discipline that they showed, and just the kind of the pride, or just there's a word for it. They just fed up. Like, I talked to Shelby Harris after the game. He was like, it's about time we took over. Like this is where the leadership is. This is where the veteran presence are. This is where the experience is. It's about time we started playing like it. Like, you know, especially in the interior where Shelby primarily plays. So that is where I was really impressed by the defense, and just those guys taking pride in what they do. You know, saying, hey, my job as a D lineman is to kick the guy's ass in front of me. I'm about to do that for 60 minutes. Buckle up. Hopefully the guy next to me feels the same way. And that was the case, man. And that was encouraging. That was encouraging because, boy, like Ted was telling us on the last pod, there's nothing you could do when the D line's getting its butt kicked, and that was the problem they were having. And Chris, they didn't have that problem on Sunday. They spent 60 minutes kicking Arizona's front line's ass.
Yeah, that's exactly what you wanted. You wanted the defensive line to set the tone. When they set the tone, everybody else's job becomes a little easier. Your linebackers are able to come through gaps, make plays that they normally should make. They don't have to worry about guys getting to the second level, meaning The running back gets through the A gap, B gap, and now he's at the linebacker position and he makes one move and now he just has a safety to beat. And that's what everyone was seeing the first few weeks in the NFL, first few weeks of the season. Running backs getting to the next level and you're expecting the linebackers to try to make these plays. They're coming downhill, one cut, guy's gone. I got the safety misses a tackle. You got a big touchdown run. And on Sunday against the Cardinals, those things didn't happen. You talked about guys holding their gaps, just holding it and allowing their linebackers to get through, or Puna Ford getting off a block, forcing the guy outside, and they're rallying to the football. That's going to continue. But getting it done on Sunday against the Cardinals was definitely a start. And again, the confidence of this defense is definitely boosted. They think they should be probably 6-0 at this point, and you can't knock them for that. They believe that they have the talent on this defense to get it done. They just have to play as they did against the Cardinals, or play well every Sunday, and you never know what could happen. And that's what we saw today. Unfortunately, the offense didn't really have a great day, but at least the defense stepped up and showed life. And I think that was the biggest thing. The defense showed life and reminded everybody, okay, this defense can get it done. Yeah, they've been getting their ass kicked for 5 straight weeks, but on that 6th week, they turned it and flipped it and made it so that you can't say that. You saw flashes of everyone having just success on the football field. Hell, a guy we haven't talked about a lot, Daryl Taylor. He was getting off the line and getting back there. He had a lot of pressure today. I'm sure his pressure rate was up, up, up. I saw him back there making a lot of plays. Hell, on the 4th down sack, on the turnover in the 4th quarter, just because of Daryl Taylor coming off the edge, forcing him back inside, and Maffe's right there to mop him up. Those are things that Seahawks fans are used to seeing, and you saw a little bit of that today. But enough about the defense, man. We got a lot of Twitter questions. You ready to get into those, Mike?
Once I want to, you mentioned 2 things that I wanted to look up.
Oh, yep. Okay.
What'd you say first? Daryl Taylor's pressure rate?
Yes.
Yeah, 11.1%, which would be, I think that would be for a D lineman, that would be about probably like top 30-ish league wide if you were to do that every week. So that's pretty impressive.
Pretty big
He
jump.
had 3 pressures today, which was second on the team behind Uchenna with 4, Shelby with 4 as well. He said something else I wanted to look up. Oh, here we go. So
4th down sack or something else, or
no, today the Cardinals had, I think they averaged like 0.3 yards before contact per rush, at least by their running backs. So that's like a third of a yard before someone was hitting them on average. So the league average is 1.5 yards before contact per rush. So basically, if the Seahawks did what they did today, in terms of yards before contact per rush, they would be by far the best run defense in the league. Like right now, I think the Titans lead in that category at 0.8 yards before contact per rush. So the Titans don't even let you get a yard before someone hits you. Pretty much is how you should read that stat. The Seahawks today didn't even let you get a third of a yard before you were hit. If you were running back, I pulled Kyler Murray's rushes out of the sample, just to, because that's really Kyler's part of the run game, but for the purposes of like projecting for a long season total, that I kind of want to use his numbers use their numbers without Kyler, if that makes sense, because you're not getting a bunch of running quarterbacks in the sample. Usually, you get your Taysom's every once in a while, or they'll get Kyler again in a few weeks, obviously. But for the most part, you're not really accounting for a running quarterback in that way. So basically, if the Seahawks did what they did today, they'd be the best run defense in the league by a mile, which is really encouraging.
As we both mentioned, that's the confidence builder. As you said, you see it now on tape. You did it. Repeat that. Just repeat it.
Yeah.
Keep holding your gaps. Keep allowing your linebackers to make plays. Keep shooting gaps and getting sacks and putting pressure rate. All those things accounted for, then this defense can be really good. It can. Yeah. They really can. And you saw it on Sunday against a bad offense, but that's what you want. Against a bad offense, you want the Seahawks to dominate. Those are things that you want to see. And if they're going to have a nice challenge next Sunday against the Chargers, but not getting too far ahead. Enjoy this one against the Cardinals. and that's a positive sign moving forward for the Seahawks defense for sure. But you ready for
Now
Twitter
I'm
questions?
ready for Twitter questions. Yeah, I wanted to get those two stats in there to kind of quantify how good the performance was. I think that yards before contact number is incredible. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the D line right there. I should have used that in my story. I'll use that later this week.
We can use it for the podcast.
Yeah, that's how you quantify the
Hang
ass.
on, what was it again? You said
They were at hang on, let me look it up again. The Cardinals.
not even a yard, but
Yeah, I think the Cardinals today. Here, I'm gonna pull it up one more time.
I'm writing it down too this time.
All right. If I filter out Kyler's runs, the Cardinals had they averaged 0.33 yards before contact per rush. So they didn't even let you get a third of a yard before someone was contacting you. That's pretty nuts. Now, part of that is because this Keontae Ingram cat, he averaged -1 yards before contact per rush. So he was getting hit in the backfield, but a yard behind the line when he was touching the ball. Now, he only had 3 carries, so that skews that number a little bit. But even Eno Benjamin was only at 0.6. So he wasn't even getting a full yard either before someone was on his ass. So those numbers are just crazy, man. Like, again, the Titans lead the league, I think, 0.8. So to be at 0.3, if you were to do that every week, again, you would be the best run defense of all time. So that the performance that the D-line put forward today, that's where the game was won and lost today up front.
Well, let's do these Twitter questions. The first one, we'll start with Will Branch at Beeman 5385. Low-key, I think this team is in the mix and the offense is legit. With the upcoming schedule, do you guys think the Seahawks can make a run? Obviously, I know it's still early on in the season.
I make a run. I don't know about that. I'm looking at the conference standings right now. Wow, Minnesota's 5-1.
Yeah, they on fire. Kirk Cousins, baby.
I don't want to give Kirk all that much credit until I check the numbers in the tape. Bucks are 3-3, Niners 3-3. The Giants are 5-1.
Man, they beat Baltimore Sunday.
I actually saw that coming. I picked up Daniel Jones in fantasy in anticipation of him playing well. I don't know how well he played, but I knew he would have to play well for them to probably beat Baltimore, although their defense is not good. In the mix is probably the right way I would describe Seattle right now. I think a win like this is important because one of the reasons I really wasn't sold on the team as a whole after the last couple of weeks was that I think everyone knew this too. It's not no revelation. I think everyone knew asking Geno Smith and those guys to score 30 a week, it was just unrealistic. You just couldn't. No offense. Well, I won't say no offense because some can, but for the most part, you just can't ask that of a team every week. Shoot, the Lions were the number one scoring offense like 2 weeks ago after the Seahawks game.
Put up 0 last week.
Next week they got blanketed or they got skunked by the Patriots, led by
Zap.
Yeah. Quick note, Chris, and maybe people on Twitter will remind me to do this too. I need to go rewatch the Patriots against the Lions and the Patriots against the Browns because those are the two best rushing teams in the league, and the Patriots shut them both down back-to-back weeks. So whatever the Patriots are doing against the run, teams can start copying that because that's working. To shut down what the Lions are doing, and then I don't know what Nick Chubb and those guys did today, but I got Chubb in one league and Kareem Hunt in the other, and I lost. So
man, I feel you on that.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that they shut down the Browns as well. I'm pretty sure they did for the Browns to only.
Oh, they did. Yeah.
Yeah, to only whatever they did. So just remind me of that. But yeah, I think in the mix is probably a good way to describe them. You know, outside of the Eagles, I really don't. I think there's a gap between the Eagles and everybody else in the NFC. So I think they're there. And the reason I brought up the way they won today is I do think they needed to win a non-shootout. I think that was important. We needed to see their defense hold someone under 30. And we needed to see the offense be able to win without scoring 30. So I think this was important in that regard as well, just to show like, all right, we can win a few ways. I talked to DK after the game. My first time talking to DK in the locker room this year, by the way. He was like, we can win however you need us to win. DJ Dallas the same way. He was like, we're versatile. I didn't use that quote, but he's like, yeah, we're versatile. You want us to win a shootout? We ready. You want us to win a slugfest? Yeah, all right, we can do it. I think that's important. You're not going to win 31-38 or 38-31 every week. Wow, yeah, Nick Chubb had 12 for 56 and Kareem Hunt 4 for 12. Yeah, I need to see what the Patriots did. That's impressive. But yeah, they're in the mix. Make a run? I'm not sure. I need to see the D-line continue to perform like this. Go kick the Chargers' ass next week, and then we can talk about making one.
That was going to be my point. If they do this against the Chargers with all the weapons, I don't at this point, Keenan Allen might just rest the whole year. Bad hamstring, dude ain't ever coming back. Feel bad for the dude.
Somebody said on Twitter, it was like Brian Robinson got shot twice and came back before Keenan Allen. All he got is a hamstring injury.
Man, I hope Keenan didn't see that tweet.
Oh my God. Oh, that was funny. Oh man, that was because it's like I know hamstrings linger, but that is a funny.
Homie got shot.
Bro got shot like late August
and playing
and made it back and scored a touchdown before. Next question. That's just so funny, dog.
This one is from Muhammad Khalif at Prez Wine. Prez Wayne. I mean, I probably destroyed that. We're just gonna go at Prez. Mohammed, appreciate the love. What do you guys think of how the Cardinals prepared for Geno? Sounds like the main plan was taking away DK and Tyler. Do you think other teams will follow the same game plan? How can the Hawks counter? I'll tell you how they countered. A lot of play action passing. You know who got a lot of touches today? Damn tight ends. Take away DK and Tyler. If you can run the ball, play action pass it, every now and then you'll get a pass to those guys. But if teams want to do that, the run game needs to be solid, which I think for the most part, Ken Walker had a solid day. And then you just got to take what the defense is giving you. If they want to allow you to throw to your tight ends and they're going to make catches and make plays, you're going to take it. Obviously, you want your offense to score more than one touchdown, but you got to take what the defense is giving you. And if you're taking away your best targets, you need guys like D. Eskridge. Marquise Goodwin stepped up today, had a few plays. So you saw other players in the mix, and that might happen every now and then, but you just need other guys in the mix to make plays. D. Eskridge maybe catches a bomb. They throw a screen, and it worked today. Mike, did you see that?
I did see that. I think it was to Ken Walker. I want to say
it was a quick. It was I guess you could. Either way, it worked. We'll just leave it at that. So there are ways that teams are going to want to take away your best players, but that's when other guys need to step up. And you saw a little bit of that today. At least I thought so.
What was the question?
It was preparing for Geno. What do you guys think the Cardinals did to prepare for Geno? And then it sounds like the main plan was taking DK and Tyler away. Other teams, will they follow that game plan? How can the Hawks?
Yeah, I think additionally, I think the plan was to try to make the O-line have to communicate a lot more. If you look at some of those sacks, it was a lot of, I don't know if they talked about this in the broadcast, but there was a lot of like twists and stunts. It wasn't just whoever we have on the edge rush against 72 and 67. It was, all right, let's send a little looper in here and let's do double loopers. Like they were just trying to make them work. And they were definitely focused on taking away DK and Tyler, particularly on third downs, which is important because if you are going to do that stuff up front and you can take away read number one, let's say the play is to Tyler. Okay, take away Tyler. He has to go to a second read. Boom, guys in his face. And I think that was a good plan on their part. They bracketed DK a lot. Like so DK got a goal line fade in the second half. I think the corner was number 33. I want to say that he went against. And the play before that, it looks like they're getting single coverage. And what they did was the safety rolled down immediately. And then I think the corner like backed off. It was like disguised really well. At least like I thought I saw something. And then they just rotated the other way. It was really well done. And then I think Geno had to just throw it away on that snap, if I'm not mistaken. So either way, they didn't move the ball. They ended up kicking a field goal. So I think the bracketing was the plan. I also think that because Seattle's like an outside zone, kind of mid-zone team, it's like those outside runs, you really have to be sound on your outsides. Obviously, you're like your edges. And what you're seeing is teams kind of leave the middle open. Like, you look at their first third down conversion today. It was like a Kenneth Walker direct snap right up the gut. You look at some of Geno's other plays where he ran with his legs. It was like right up the gut. And the Cardinals were able to take away some of that with some of that D-line movement to crash down in the middle. So I think that the Cardinals had a really good plan. Their DBs are on fire today. One of the homies who didn't watch the game, they asked me, was like, how King Jean looked today. And I was like, man, the Arizona DBs were ready. They were ready. They were like, someone else is going to have to cook us. It ain't going to be 16 and it ain't going to be 14. And I think their plan was solid. Geno threw for 197 and got sacked 5 times. Like the leading receiver was Noah Fant, and number 2 was D. Eskridge with 39 yards. If you tell me, if I'm the opponent and I tell you that, hey, Noah Fant is going to lead the team in receiving.
You think the Seahawks lost by 30
with 45 yards though? And be like, oh yeah, we got this. I can that their plan worked well enough. 19 points, only giving up 19 should win you a game in the NFL. So that their plan was good in a lot of ways. The ways you mentioned, Chris, and then some of the other stuff they did to take away, not just the passing game, but some of the stuff Seattle likes to do in the run game too.
Yep. This one is from Zach Gabel. What explains the 5 sacks Geno took today? We kind of touched on that, but if you can go over it again, Mike. Did he hold the ball too long, or was it just one of those games or bad O-line, or a combination?
I think he held the ball too long like once. I think when you go back and look at the sacks, I looked at all 5 of them before we recorded. I didn't dissect them super well because I wanted to get this rolling, but just looking at the 5, it looked like a bad day up front in pass protection. I didn't listen to Pete Carroll's press conference yet. I was having some car trouble today, but before we recorded. But I would imagine he'll say the same thing. If he didn't after the game, he'll probably say it after he watches the film. It wasn't a good day up front. They like those twists and stunts was that they had those guys all discombobulated a couple times. Cross got beat one time, Abe got beat the other time. Even when Geno tried to step up on one of them, didn't matter because I think Cross was beat bad enough that number 41 just like jumped on Geno's back. Pretty much, it was a pretty bad day protecting up front. They blocked pretty well in the run game, but I mean, some of that was Kenneth Walker is just a beast. Woo, that kid can scoop, boy.
He's physical.
Yeah, man. You can just see why he was so hard to tackle at Michigan State. Like, he's hard to tackle right now as a rookie. I can only imagine some poor Big Ten kids from Illinois trying to tackle that cat. Like that must have been really hard. But yeah, I think the 5 sacks, each sack is his own story. But just in general, if you ask me, hey, Mike, what happened? That is not a good pass protection day. I'm sure the PFF grades or whatever will support that. I don't have all the pressure numbers in front of me, but just off watching the game and then rewatching all of the sacks, I can confidently say the O-line room is not going to, how we said, the Tell the Truth Monday is going to be pretty solid for the defense. Tell the Truth Monday is probably going to be pretty tough for the O-line room. And maybe not just the O-line, maybe the Geno did something wrong on some of those protections, or I think one of them, DJ Dallas, is in there, and it looks like there's some type of communication issue. So maybe not just the O-lineman, but just in general, protection was not the thing today. That did not go well in Arizona. They feasted the same way Seattle feasted on Kyler and that O-line. Same thing on the other side. This is a D-line clinic today on Sunday.
This one comes from one of the homies on Instagram. Yo, I've listened to Man to Man religiously since I found you guys years ago. I don't use Twitter much, but how different is Shane Waldron's offense this year from last? And all the throws Geno is making now, are they just throws Russ wouldn't or couldn't make? Is the O-line just better? The offense is just clicking.
Yeah, I think the offense is it's pretty similar. They're doing a few different runs and stuff like that. They're running Geno intentionally a little bit more than they were running Russ. I don't think Russ really ran intentionally at all in his 1 year with Shane. I didn't see a lot of it. He did more QB sneaks with Shane, but in general, not using really Russ with his legs that much. I think some of the throws that Geno does make are some ones that Russ wasn't as comfortable making. One today that was incomplete was like a dig route to DK. I think it was Zaven Collins or whatever maybe got a hand on it. Whoever number 25 is got a hand on it over the middle. Like obviously the pass wasn't completed, but it was one of those like, ooh, that's a over the middle Ryan Tannehill, Tom Brady type of throw, or Jimmy G. And those are 3 guys who really attacked the middle. Those are throws that Russ made, but wasn't like super big on. And you're not seeing as many throws outside the numbers. Like, you're seeing them, but you're not seeing as much. Like with Russ, an offense is going to have a shit ton of go balls, and you're not really seeing those as often in this offense. So I think that's part. There's a few differences. Yeah. You're seeing a few different formations. They use a lot of pistol now. They do that weird thing where they line up in like almost like a wing T looking thing, and they motion out of it. Not really sure why. They use a little bit more 21 personnel, which is what is that? That's 2 running backs. Excuse me, is that 1 tight end? Yeah. They use that a little bit more today. I think the screen pass was 21 personnel. So, excuse me. There's a few differences. And part of it is Geno's just playing really well. Russ didn't play as well last year, so I think that's the big difference as well.
What is your sense? This one's from Hawks fan 206. What is your sense of how Boye Mafe is coming along? Also, are there any free agents out there you'd see that could be a good fit for the Seahawks?
I don't see any free agents. I just don't think that's anyone still out there right now is probably not going to help them in the areas that they need help. Like I saw, like Deshaun Jackson said he wants to keep playing or something like that, and like that's not going to help these guys. Although if the Panthers cut Robbie Anderson, yeah, you hop on the phone and make that call. I saw him get thrown out the game. At least I saw it on Twitter. I haven't read more about it, but definitely make that call. If he's there, I mean, maybe if the Rams cut Cam Akers, you see what that, it never hurts to have extra running back bodies. I mean, these guys just drop like flies, unfortunately. But as for Boye, I think Boye is just really strong and is fairly like disciplined. Like you really don't see a lot of players. You're like, damn, Boye really fucked that up. You don't see those. Like you see more of like, oh wow, that was a good play by Boye, for example. On the first drive of the game, I'm pretty sure that the reason that Kyler Murray doesn't score on that 2nd and goal run is because Boye stays like square to the line of scrimmage as Kyler's trying to scoot around him and forces him to have to like do a little like jab step move, which gives, I believe, Michael Jackson enough time to set the edge, and then Kyler eventually just runs out of bounds. And it's just like one of those plays where you're like, it's not a splash play. Like if I didn't mention that play on the pod just now, people probably wouldn't even remember that that's how it happened. They know that Kyler didn't score on the first drive, but it's like, oh dang, who was mostly responsible for that? I believe that was a Boye thing. Here, now I gotta pull it up so I don't look stupid. Let's see. Kyler right end for -4 yards. Michael Jackson gets credit for the play. Like I'm watching the play right now, and Chris, maybe you might be able to clip this in here for our YouTube folks. But yeah, I'm watching it. Boye sheds the block from the fullback and then squares up Kyler Murray, allowing Michael Jackson to come help. That's a perfect example of the type of stuff Boye has been doing. It's literally not even in the stat sheet, not even as a pressure, whatever, but it's one of those game-changing plays. Like that's really impressive. Like here, let me see. I'm gonna pull it up for our YouTube audience is about to get a little glimpse here what we're doing. And here, I'll throw it in here for you. Like, look at this player. This is for our YouTube folks. Like, I'm gonna describe it for like I kind of just did. Kyler takes a shotgun snap and fakes it, and then just takes off. And the fullback or whoever's lead blocking for him just tries to square up Boye. He can't. Boye shoves him off, stays square to the line of scrimmage, and then he makes sure that Kyler has to go horizontal instead of going forward. That gives Michael Jackson more time to recover, and it ends up being like a loss of 4 yards. It turns a 2nd and 1 into a 3rd and goal from the 5. Like that's just a huge play right there. So like those are the Boye type of plays. I know everyone can't see. This is only for our YouTube audience. I can see everything I just described. But when people ask me how's Boye look, he's not flashing like Tariq is flashing, but number 53 has some promise for sure.
Our next question comes from Tony K. It was noted that Barton lost snaps, and the Hawks were obviously better. Who replaced him, or how did they change their scheme with him not out there? Do you think they will continue to get less snaps, or was it just a matchup?
I think today with a little bit matchup and a little bit of something they'll probably continue to do going forward, which is I call it their big nickel. They have another name for it. I keep forgetting we talked about this before, and somebody mentioned it. It was like the peso package or something like that.
Yeah, because peso was another word for dollar.
Yeah, but then somebody tweeted us and was like, a peso also is like a quarter or something like that too. It was Fuck, I just messed that up. Either way, here's what they were doing.
Peso is 50 cents.
Okay.
American dollar. It's 50 cents for American.
I gotta find a tweet now.
Because a Mexican peso is $1. I'll look it up. I know exactly what you're talking about.
So you should Twitter search me and you and then like the word peso. Someone tweeted it to us. Anyway.
A peso is worth about a nickel.
Yes.
Does it make sense that the peso defense is a variation on a nickel defense?
Yes, there it is. Thank you to who did that. We're gonna shout them out. Who tweeted
that? Was Paul Good. Paul_PK Good.
All right, thank you, Paul. Yeah, let's call it the peso package. Here's what they were running. You get 5 down linemen. Sometimes the lineman will have to like cover a slot guy, which you guys probably saw, like the one that Uchenna gave up in the middle of the field. Like occasionally that happens, but for the most part, you get 5 down linemen. Think of it as like a 3-3-5. So your 3 is, let's say, Brian Monet, Shelby, and Puna. There's your 3. 3 D-line. Your 3 backers in the 3-3-5. Uchenna, Boye, and Jordan. All right? And then your 5. Your regular 4, Mike Jack, Tariq, Ryan, Quandre, and then you have Kobe Bryant, not Cody Barton. So there's your 3-3-5. They were using that on early downs too, though. So that 5 down, that still gives you decent numbers in terms of being your gaps in the run game. And then you have Jordan, and then you have Ryan who can come in and fill in the run game. And then Kobe's there as well. Like Kobe had like 7 tackles today or something. So you use that package. And then you go like to the passing downs. You can use your dime or whatever, your regular nickel. They use way more of that. I think Cody today played like 39% of Seattle's defensive snaps, easily his lowest of the season. Cody had been playing like 80-something%. They just kind of wiped Cody from having a big role in the game plan in favor of Kobe Bryant playing a lot more. And they did a little bit of that against Detroit, actually. And I think they used some of those snaps too against the Saints. It just didn't work as well because you really need the D-line to be in its bag to pull that off. Because you look at it, at the second level, it's just Jordan. Like, that's it. So that's really risky to run. You need your D-line to kick some ass. And they did consistently in that. So I think that was the reason why. I don't know if the broadcast talked about it. Did the broadcast talk about that, Chris, about Cody not playing that much? No.
I didn't hear anything about it, to be honest.
Yeah, so I was pointing it out like live. I was like, wow, okay, they're going big nickel. But I think we'll call it the peso package. I think the peso thing is really effective and it's something I want to see more of just because I think it puts their best 11 on the field. You know, like if your peso package, if you're starting with Al Woods back, if you got Al, Shelby, Puna, Uchenna, Boye, Jordan, Kobe, and then your 4 DBs, your 4 other DBs, that's your best 11 to me. And then you're rotating Brian Monet and then Q Jeff as well, and then Daryl in there for your pressure stuff. Like, that's how you get your best guys on the field. Doesn't mean don't use Cody. Cody has some good plays today. But I just think this is the best. That's the best usage. And you're seeing why. Kobe is just getting the ball out every week. You know, he's making the impact plays. Your best impact plays have been coming from rookies. You know, so play your rookies more if you have to. So I think that's what they were doing today. The peso package. That's what we're going to call. Shout out to Paul. Paul with the peso package.
This one is from Larry Collins at L Collins RB. Have the DBs shown enough ability for the defense to incorporate cover 3 in their scheme to keep 8 in the box?
Yeah, so they run a little bit of cover 3 still. They just call it like cover 9. I want to try to explain the difference between cover 3 and cover 9 on the podcast right now. I won't, even though I kind of know the difference. But basically, think of it as a 3D look. It's the same thing. So they ran a little bit of it today. They actually run it with the peso package because what you can do with that is put Ryan Neal next to Jordan. So really at the second level, you're basically using Ryan as a linebacker. Then you have him, you have Ryan, Jordan, and Kobe. And then you have Mike, Jack, and Tariq. And as we've seen with Tariq, God bless anyone trying to beat him up the sideline. You can, like last week, we broke down, or just on the podcast that we just released, for our YouTube people on Friday, Tariq is taking away comeback routes while he's playing cover 3. Now he's taking away go routes. So basically, ain't shit you can complete on this man. He done intercepted. I think he intercepted in week 3. Tariq intercepted I forget what Drake London ran on that, but it was a comeback of some sort. Like Drake was coming back to the ball, and then in week 4, he basically robs a dig route, and then in week 5, he takes a comeback route. In week 6, he intercepts a goal ball. I'm not sure what else if he intercepts a back shoulder end zone fade, he's best corner in the league. Because that's every route pretty much, other than like a deep post or something like that. And I don't even think nobody's going to throw that because he's 6'4", 4.2 speed. So the answer to that question is yes. And the thing is, all you're really concerned about in that regard is making sure Michael Jackson doesn't get beat deep and the guys don't get penalties. Because that's the other thing about throwing it up to guys. But other than that, I think in the big nickel in particular, or the peso package, you can really run some cover 3 stuff, because then you got guys underneath that I trust. Because underneath, not to say I don't trust Cody necessarily. I just think if you're talking about coverage, I just trust DBs more. It's kind of just natural. Whether you need Ryan to hit the flat or Kobe, like they came at Kobe a lot today. Like
he made plays.
Yeah, like
pass breakups.
Yeah, Kobe was in some really good position today. Like Kyler almost gifted him one on an underthrown ball. I want to say towards Zach Ertz, or it might have been Marquise. But either way, like if it comes to like being the hook guy or the flat guy, other than Ryan Neal's missed tackle, I think on the first or second, like Ryan's just being a really solid player. So I think yes, the DBs are showing enough. At least early, like in a little bit that we've seen from like the peso package, to say, all right, you guys can run a little bit more of your cover 9/cover 3 stuff, because there's a lot that has to go right. But like today was a good example that, all right, we can do this, particularly when we can kind of count on 27 just shutting down one side of the field.
This one is from Eric. Tweets are dumb. When he was hired, Clint Hurts said he wasn't filling D linemen in coverage. But on Sunday, Eric saw Nwosu covering the slot receiver Rondell Moore a few times. Was that Arizona scheming that with the personnel they put out on the field, or something else?
Nah, you can't really play a 3-4 structure without dropping your outside linebackers. That's just kind of the nature of the business. You try to avoid those obvious mismatches, but the main thing is making sure your guys are in position where they have some help too. It's like, for example, on the first 4th down try, I think it's a 4th and 4 at the 20 in the first play of the second quarter. Boye Mafe is in coverage as well, and he sits under. And maybe it's not this play, but there is a play where Boye Mafe he drops back into coverage, and it takes away one of Kyler's reads, and it forces Kyler to go somewhere else, and I think it ends up incomplete. So Boye and Uchenna can cover; they can do that. Every once in a while, there'd be a bad matchup. I got to watch the Rondell play again, because it's really they need to have help, because I don't know how Uchenna ended up alone in the middle of the field. Like in the flats and stuff, I can see that, but a little bit of that is some more big nickel stuff too, I can imagine. But you won't see a ton of mismatches like that, but it's a necessary evil. You won't see a lot of Brian Monet and Poona Ford and Shelby Harris dropping into coverage, although I will say, I think the sack that they had, or one of the runs of no gain or something, that like one of the big plays behind the line of scrimmage from week 5, Shelby Harris was in coverage. He was like a spy almost. It was a very weird play, but it worked. So it's rare. And I know what Clint said, but for the most part, you're going to have those guys doing some of those coverage dropping. I mean, shoot, Uchenna almost had a pick 6. What was that, week 4? What week was that, Chris, when he had the ball go right through his hand?
Might have been week 3.
Yeah,
it was early in the season. They
were playing indoors. It was against Detroit. So Uchenna can do all that stuff. Uchenna's quietly one of their better players. So yes, you're gonna see a little bit of that. You try not to have too much of a mismatch on it, but I think their guys are athletic enough to do it. To be honest, I think that particular play was tough because I think that was like they ran a lot of vertical routes and they cleared out Jordan. So Jordan had to follow, I think, like Zach Ertz going up the seam, and so that left Uchenna by himself. That was like that particular play is they got schemed up. In general, though, you're not going to see a lot of mismatches, even though Uchenna and Boye can cover in space.
This one is from Lance Zimmerman at Lance Fancy Pants. Is Tariq Woolen our best player on the Seahawks defense right now?
No. I still think it's Big Al. Big Al's been very, very, very good. He's probably, man, because Uchenna's been good too, man.
That was yeah.
Who you got?
I was gonna say Uchenna. He's been, I would say, the most not that Tariq hasn't been consistent, but he has been week in and week out. Damn. He's doing his job. You just didn't have everyone else doing their part. But as we touched on earlier in the pod, when the D-line does their part as a whole unit, everybody else's job is easy. So if I had to rank it, it would go Uchenna, I go Tariq, and then Al. Or if you want to do Uchenna, Al, and Tariq, that's fine too. It's those three. I know that much.
Yeah, and I don't think Quandre's played bad. The thing about how Quandre's played is this would all look so different if he catches some of these balls that are hitting him in the hands.
Oh yeah, he had an interception today it was a tough one, but if you're gonna touch it with both hands, you might as well catch it.
Yeah, and that's like his third one that's hit him in the hands. I think he dropped one against Denver, dropped one against the Niners, and then dropped one today. Like it would look so different if he had 3 interceptions. You know, like if every other play he's made or has not made was all the same, don't change anything but those 3 plays, he would look like he's having an all-pro year. Like that's just how crazy catching the ball versus not catching the ball is. Although today it's probably better that he didn't catch the ball because I think Kyler threw it from the 28 on 4th down. So if he catches it in the end zone, they actually lose 8 yards. But whatever. And I think that was also the case against the Niners. It was 4th down and the ball was in the end zone. So if he catches it, they lose yards. But
whatever. Get those stats, baby.
The thing about Tariq, man, is that what's kind of funny about him is how many of his teammates have no problem telling us that he doesn't know what he's doing half.
He said that in the presser. I started crying. I said, "That's how you know you're filthy."
Who said it in the presser? Tariq did?
Yeah, he said, yeah. Or a reporter asked the question, like, "Hey, teammates are saying, you don't even know what you're doing out there. Like, how do you feel?" He's like, "I don't." And I'm just like, yo, you know how good you got to be to say, "I don't know what I'm doing out there, but I'm in position and I make plays." So
yeah, so
that's crazy.
Don't know. I was in his presser, but I don't really remember that question. I do know that when I talked to Quentin Jefferson, he was like, "Yeah, man, he don't even really know what he's doing," and I was just like, "What?" He's like, "He's just good." And then Jordan Brooks said the same thing. Jordan Brooks was like, "Yeah, he don't even know what he's doing half the time," and he's just out there on raw talent. I was like, "Yo."
Yeah, hey, offensive coordinators are praying he don't ever figure it out because then it's a wrap.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the episode of The Shop, LeBron's show on HBO, where they have Patrick Mahomes on there, and I think it's after It's after his 3rd season. That's your Patrick Mahomes impression.
I'm here.
It was after Mahomes, I want to say his 3rd season, and he basically was like, my first 2 years, I didn't really know how to read coverages or something like that. He said something to the effect of, "Now I know how to read defenses," or something like that. And I was like, "Dog, you won MVP without knowing how to read coverages?"
That's
or
crazy.
Like knowing what you're seeing. That's the bag Tariq is in. Maybe a better comp. A better comp would be the year Randy Moss's rookie year, where he was like, "I really only knew 2 routes." And I'm pretty sure he led the league in touchdown catches that year with like 16 or something like that. As a rookie, only knowing 2 routes. So like that's where I'm kind of comparing Tariq. Is like, damn, dog, if this is you not knowing what you're doing, oh my God. And I get what they're saying, because like some of this stuff is recognition. Like today he was like, "Oh, 4th and 11, Marquise Brown, this is probably a go ball." Like he recognized that, but some of this stuff is really, you can tell he's just like, "Oh, the ball's there, let me catch it." Like that's crazy. That's crazy. So yeah, I think that's the most impressive part about what Tariq is doing. And by the way, Randy Moss did lead the league in touchdown catches in 1998 with 17, and he had 1,300 yards that year. Two routes. He was either going or he was going and coming back. Either way, he was scoring. That's crazy. That's Tariq.
Got another Tariq one. This is from Jacoby Bell. If this pace continues, or he just stays remotely consistent for Woolen, is there a potential that he achieved Defensive Rookie of the Year?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then on top of that, how great would he have to be in consideration for Most Valuable Player
of the league or Defensive Player of the Year?
No. How great of a year would he have to be in consideration for MVP?
Probably like 15 picks or something like that. No, for real.
That's insane. The guy has to have 15 interceptions just for you to say, you know what? You're the Defensive Player of the Year. That's crazy.
Yeah, because I think who's the last? No, you said MVP, right?
Defensive MVP, or excuse me, MVP. Yeah.
Okay, so MVP of the league.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like 15 picks or something like that. Something crazy like that. 15. Probably break the record for picks. That'd be pretty crazy. And then you had to score on a few of them as well, which he's already done once. So I mean, Tariq is really making an impact play. Look, he's already got a field goal blocked for a touchdown. He didn't obviously return it, but shoot. He's recovered 2 fumbles. He has scored a touchdown of his own with 4 picks. Jesus, man. Like that is not Defensive Rookie of the Year stuff. That's just Defensive Player of the Year stuff right there. I know there's other guys racking up sacks and stuff like that. Nick Bosa's having a crazy year, and some other guy, Michael Parsons is playing out of his mind. I don't know what he did in the Sunday night game because I didn't get a chance to watch, but yeah, there's some other good comp there. It ain't like Tariq's running away with that. But in terms of if he keeps making an impact play per game, that's basically what Michael Parsons was doing last year. So it'd be the same thing.
You know, at this point, they might as well put Tariq back there for kick return.
Nah. That's
just run straight, bro. Catch it and go. You kidding me?
Because no. You gotta be.
I'm telling you.
I remember I was talking to somebody. I think I forget who it was. Somebody on the team who no longer has to do kick returns. Oh, it was Rashad. It was Rashad Penny. I was like, bro, you don't want to do kick return no more? He was like, hell no. I was like, why not?
Kill you.
Yeah, he was like, we both kind of agreed, even though I put it in a way that he hadn't kind of like heard it worded. It's like, kickoff is full of dudes who got nothing to lose. Like, you got kickoff is a bunch of dudes who those are their only plays. You know what I mean? Like, for real, them 2 or 3, 4 kickoffs that's it. That's
my game.
When they're on camera. So it's like you don't want to be on the field with them dudes because they ain't got nothing to lose. Like you got to do like Joey Blunt coming down. You know, Joey ain't gonna play but 5-6 snaps, and they all gonna be with him trying to kill somebody on special teams. So you don't want to be the dude he killing. You know, so you leave Tariq out of special teams.
This one is from Holly. What are your thoughts so far on the 2022 rookie class thus far? And when we going to see Bruce get in there?
I imagine Bruce will probably play next week instead of Christian Jones. I think Christian Jones got called up for the 2nd or 3rd straight week. So instead of signing Christian to the 53, they'll probably just sign Bruce. I think they have an open roster spot still after who they just put on IR. Oh, Rashad. Put Rashad on IR on Friday. As for the rookie class, I do think it's probably on pace to be. This has 2011 vibes, probably. 2010 and 2012 are tough, man, because 2012 had 2 Hall of Famers in it. I mean, Russ is kind of playing himself out of the Hall of Fame right now. We'll see what he does on Monday night and the rest of the year. But, oh, man, this class is really, really good. And, you know, I hate to be like a Debbie Downer, but I will say they needed this class bad because 2021 is looking pretty bad. Like, I think I talked about it last podcast as well, maybe 2 podcasts ago, that in 2021, they only had 3 picks.
Stone.
2 of those, and they were missing 2 of them essentially because of Jamal. They were missing a first and a third. They were missing a fifth because of Gabe Jackson, and then a sixth because of a guy who's not even on the team anymore. And so you only had a second, a fourth, and a sixth.
Yep.
Or sixth or a seventh that they traded up. Then they traded up for Stone. I can't remember now. Either way, you only had 3 guys. You ended up getting Trey Brown, Stone Forsythe from D. Now, as much as I think those guys all have some potential to stick around in this league, hardly any of them are contributing on a consistent basis. And 2 of those guys aren't playing at all this year after Stone didn't really play at all last year. So that class, you're getting so little out of. You almost had to get like 5-6 starters out of your 2022 class, especially when you traded Russ. So while I think that this class is exceptional, I don't think it like fast tracks their rebuild or anything, quote unquote, just because they were so far behind the 8 ball from missing on the 2021 class, if that makes sense. But I do think this class is going to be really good. I think you have 2 guys with potential to be Pro Bowlers on their rookie deals in Abe and Tariq. That's impressive. They haven't had a guy make a Pro Bowl on his rookie deals as a draft pick since Shaquille in 2019. So if I don't count Michael Dixon. So yeah, that's really impressive.
This one is from JJ Barino at JCER_55. How would you guys feel about the season if the Seahawks get a wild card spot with the team they got now?
I would be very impressed if they were able to do that, because that means the defense is playing pretty damn well to get a wild card spot.
That means from this point on, they've been damn good.
Yeah, they probably have to go with a 3-3 with 11 games left. They probably have to go 8-3. Probably.
Damn.
11 is no. What does it do to get to 10-7? So 7-4.
Math here.
7-4 that's doable. I'd be very surprised if they were able to get that. I know there's not like a lot of great teams in the NFC. I just got to see more from the defense because Arizona's O-line ain't like super great, and they kick their ass. Go kick some other O-line's asses, and I'll be a believer. I think, honestly, Chris, the question that's going to be most interesting if that does happen is what you do with Geno. Because if they make a wild card push, that means he's playing well.
Bring his ass back.
And if he's playing well, what are you willing to pay for that? And in that case, what do you use your first round pick on? You use it on a quarterback? Okay, well, who's drafting ahead of you? Where's Denver's pick? It gets kind of tricky if you kind of estimate a wild card berth. So that'd be pretty interesting to see. Of all the questions, of all the things that happen if you make a wild card push, it's like, ooh, okay. Well, now what do you do at quarterback? And if you make the wild card round, okay, well, how well does Geno play in the playoffs? Because Geno balls, and let's say and then the defense isn't like good enough and they lose, like, oh shit, Geno just cooked like Minnesota in the playoffs or something like that. We lost, but Geno ate. Now what? Like, there's a lot. That could be a very interesting development. I would be very surprised though if they did. But if they do make the wild card round, I think the big thing is like, what do you do at quarterback at that point?
Got 2 more for you. In terms of immediate returns, how does the 2022 draft class compare with other great draft classes? I don't remember 11 or 12 having this many immediately promising players.
Well, I think Cam was playing by the end of his rookie year. Not much. I think he was behind like Lawyer Malloy or something like that. Earl was playing right away in that 2010 class. I think Russell Okung was playing right away. Who else is in that class?
Are you talking about 2012 or?
Yeah. Let's see.
Wasn't Bobby playing right away?
Golden Tate. Damn, that 2010 class was good too. 2011 took a little bit to come along, although there ended up being some good guys in that class. Let's see here. Let's look at the 2010 class.
But you're talking about 2011 though.
I thought they were just saying compared to other good draft classes. Because 2010 was good too. 2010 had Russell Okung, Earl Thomas.
He literally said he doesn't remember 2011 or 2012. So maybe just looking at those 2 years instead, which only had, I think, KJ and Bobby. 2012 had Bobby and 2011 had KJ for sure.
Okay, so 2011, yeah, I think James Carpenter was starting right away. KJ got in there right away. Sherm didn't start right away. I think Marcus Trufant was still starting. I don't think Byron Maxwell got in there for a little bit either. I don't even remember Pep Livingston playing much at all. Yeah, in terms of a fast track, this class is perhaps in better shape than the other ones. I mean, Bruce was playing right away, Bobby was playing right away, and Russ played right away. And then you had Turbo. So, and then Jay Lane, and Sweeze. So I think this is probably on a 2012 kind of trajectory in that regard, which is really impressive. That is, like, to get this many guys playing this early. But also, I think part of that is the team wasn't that good. So you had a lot of opportunities for guys to get on the field, particularly the 2 tackles. And then you drafted a running back really high, and running backs get hurt a lot. So, yeah, I think the fast track they're on is really impressive, man. And to find so many guys that just don't look in over their head. Like, everybody who's played looks like, oh, they can handle this. Derek Young hasn't really played, and they cut Bo Melton and signed him to the practice squad. Are we missing anybody else? Oh, Tyreek Smith. Tyreek Smith's on IR. So everyone who has played looks like, oh, we can do this. Like that's I don't know if I've seen anything like that. That probably speaks to some coaching as well. And it also, I mean, look at why these guys are playing well. Charles and Abe are able to run block. Didn't do that in college at all. Boy, Mafe is defending the run, and when they expected him to be a pass rusher based on what he had shown. Tariq looks technically sound as hell, and his footage was raw. That's why he was a 5th round pick. Kobe Bryant's playing a position he's never played before. So on top of these guys just playing well, they have been coached up at certain things. That's really impressive. That probably speaks to coaching as much as anything with that rookie class, because they're all just, with the exception of Kenneth being the runner he is, that just looks like that's Ken, because he's good as shit. But everything else, it looks like the coaches staff had a plan with these guys and then coached them up right, and they're performing. Like, even Ken being able to pass block, that's coaching. So yeah, I think that the coaching staff has done a really good job with this 2022 group.
Oh, you got, okay. Last one is from Michael Scott at Michael_B Scott_. Are the Seahawks good?
Ooh, this is a fun question to end on. I want to say no. And I will continue that by saying I'm not sure if I think anyone in the NFC is good, except for Philly. Like, Chris, let's see what you think here. I'm gonna rattle off some. I'm gonna rattle off a team. Just say yes or no if they're good. Ready?
Okay.
Philly.
Yes.
Minnesota.
Yes.
Tampa Bay.
No.
San Francisco.
No.
The Giants.
I haven't seen enough of them, and their record says yes, but they could get smoked by the Seahawks.
It's a long answer, sir. Yes or no on the Giants?
Sure.
No, yes or no on the... Like, come on, man.
Is
yes
sure not
no
a yes for you? I'm sure and yes are synonyms.
They are not. No, they are not. They're absolutely not.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay. You got a yes on the Giants? All right. Dallas.
No.
Rams.
Ooh, hang on. I think Dallas is a good football team.
Okay. Rams.
No.
Packers.
No.
Falcons.
Wow. They just smoked the Falcons, but no.
They beat up on the Niners.
The Niners,
you said, are not a good team. So
no.
So those are all, everybody else is under 500. I'm going to assume you don't think any of the other teams that are 2-4 or worse are any good, correct?
Nope.
Okay. So you said 1, 2, 3, 4. You said 4 teams were good. Do you think the Seahawks are good?
No.
So I think the
they're
Seahawks,
on their way.
They're okay. They're okay. I think this is a good start. Let me see where they are in point differential after this week. So they're still minus 17 which is tied for 21st in the league. They're tied for 21st with New Orleans, and the Packers are minus 16. Browns are minus 15. Chargers, who haven't played this week yet, are minus 14. Shoot, the Texans still have a better point differential than the Seahawks. Wait, why did I say the Texans only played 5 games? Oh, they're on a bye. That's why. So like the Raiders, for example, are 1-4. They're on a bye this week, minus 5 point differential. That's 15th in the league. So, I mean, I think that you're on to something. I think we're probably in agreement that they're not good, but they're getting close. They're getting close. So beat the Chargers. Beat the Chargers, then we can talk. Because I also need to see how. The other thing I want to see, just real quick, I need to see from the offensive side. I need to see the third downs be a little better again. I think they were like 4 of 12 today on third down. That's after going 1 of 9 against the Saints. So that's pretty bad.
What is that? 5 of.
You about to do some math on the show?
21.
God bless.
You said 4 of 12, 1 of 9. So yeah, that's like 5 of 21 or something. That's horrendous.
Let's see. I'm gonna look up third down conversions in weeks. I'm such a nerd. I look up everything. Third down conversions in 5 to 6. The Seahawks are 29th at 21.7%.
Yeah, you got to stay on the field against the Chargers. I think they're gonna move the ball a little better than what the Cardinals presented on Sunday. But that's just my early take.
Yeah. So I need you to be better on third downs to believe in the team. Because that's why I was so high on the offense in the past, because they had been converting and scoring. It's like you go 1 of 9 and you go like 4 of whatever they were today. Now you're at 21% the last 2 weeks, one of the worst in the league. That's just troubling. So I got to see. Let me see the team put it together one more time, and then we can revisit. I think the Seahawks are okay. I think, which is what 3-3 suggests. 3-3 with a minus 17 point differential suggests that you're okay. You know,
you're getting there.
That you're good. It suggests that you can be. If then you do this and some other stuff. So they're on their way. If nothing else, man, the Seahawks are entertaining. Like, if the Seahawks were the Thursday night game every week, like, it would have been good every week but week 2. You know, like that. Some of these primetime games have been just shit shows, and the Seahawks are not that. They are entertaining when you flip on the film. So, yeah, man. Shout out to that defense. Shout out to that D-line, man.
That's why this episode was all about defense. And we want to thank all of you out there for showing love. I know a lot of you say, you've been rocking with us. You love the show. So I want to just thank everyone instead of individually, because we thank you guys all. So I appreciate it for you guys tapping in, asking questions. We will catch you guys later in the week as we get ready for, now we're moving on, Seahawks and Chargers. That should be a very interesting one. This is a big test for this defense and offense, especially the defense that played so well on Sunday against the Cardinals. So hopefully they can continue that, and we can come to you back. And the Seahawks are 4-3. Talk about a turnaround.
Yeah, that would be very interesting, man. So yeah, this week we should have the homie Daniel covers the Chargers. We have him on our midweek show, and then we'll do our film breakdown, the drop later in the week as well. So we're on it, man. We're up to 3. We're giving you 3 pieces of content per week now. So that should be fun, man. I can't wait to rewatch the film and then decide on what my play is going to be this week.
Early prediction, defense.
Yeah, I'll probably go defense for sure. I can't think of what play though.
I got a couple in my head. I'm like, ooh, okay.
I kind of want to pick a Puna play.
Okay, man, get out of my head.
Oh, you gonna pick a Puna play? Damn.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, I don't want to go with Tariq. I'm gonna go with Puna because no one's gonna expect that. This was Puna's best game so far this season, and I saw that just watching the game. Now I can go back in the tape, pick one of my favorite plays because he had, I think, 3 or 4. I'm like, damn, Puna's making an impact. So, but yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So for those who missed, we've been breaking down. We're gonna start breaking down one play each. Maybe we can expand it if we want, but right now it'll be one play each on film with the all 22. I think if you guys got a play you're really curious about how the inner workings of it went, you guys can let us know.
Better idea. Yes.
If you guys want to pick, let us know. We can do that.
Now you're gonna get flooded with 1,000 DMs. If that's
that's ain't but so many plays to choose from. So yeah, we may be able to do that as well. There's a Christian Jones play that I liked in there as well, and the Brian Monet run stop. was really impressive. The Christian Jones play is probably one nobody's really thinking about, but I thought it was excellent. Just excellent work by a young outside linebacker. So yeah, I can't wait to break that down later after we get into the film and talk a little bit of Chargers on our Tuesday show to drop Wednesday. So until then, man, thank you. To echo what Chris said, appreciate the love. We make sure we bring this to you every week. We couldn't do it without you guys' love and support. Make sure you subscribe everywhere that you get your podcasts. Until the next time, ladies and gentlemen, we are out.